रिचर्ड गेरी हमारे साथ हैं हमारे स्टूडियो में और साथ ही महरीन अबरार भी हैं who is a sign language program manager. Thank you so much both of you for coming here. Richard, welcome back to Geo Pakistan because we have had you on the show before as well. The importance of usually when a day is observed like this, it's for a day, one day. We are talking about a whole week. So there's a lot of importance given to it. Tell us more about this week. What are we going to do?
You know, the world has become more inclusive, and this is something we're focused on, helping Pakistan also to be more inclusive and to create that awareness. Some years ago, the deaf community in the United States and some other global partners launched this International Week of the Deaf.
Right.
And it's to celebrate the deaf community. As I was sharing earlier, if we look at the deaf community not as a disability group, but as a minority culture that just speaks a different language, which is their sign language.
That's a wonderful way to put it.
Then they're not disabled, they just need to be empowered by giving them education and training in their language.
Makes perfect sense,
yes.
actually.
And this is our goal and how we manage our Deaf Reach schools. We have schools in 8 different cities across the country, and we have a program that runs from kindergarten all the way up through college with a BA program for higher education.
Right.
And it's not only giving them education, but preparing them to enter the workplace as well and provide job opportunities.
How are things different now from when you started? It's been 35 years.
And of course there is like advancement in technology as well. We are hoping and expecting things might have become easier now for people who cannot hear.
You know, deafness is not something that's cured by a magic bullet. There's cochlear implantation, which is very expensive and is not always successful. The real challenge for a deaf child is not so much what you might call their disability, but it's their language deprivation. 90% of deaf children are born into families with hearing parents, and the families aren't equipped to and they don't have the awareness of what to do for those children. So we have created awareness programs. We're working with the government to implement early screening so that deaf children can get a start earlier than, because a deaf child, when he comes to school when he's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it's already past those language acquisition.
It's already too late.
Do you have training programs for the parents too?
Yes.
First, it must already be a shock for them that when they get to discover that their child is deaf or unable to hear, and then, making them learn a new language altogether is a challenge.
It is. I'm a parent of a deaf child. That's how I know these things.
Yeah.
And when we first started our program, we had a little one-room schoolhouse, literally with 20, 30 students here. But we always had a program that included the parents. And to this day, across our 8 schools, twice a month we bring the parents in on a Saturday. We give them classes in how to care for their children as well as how to communicate in sign language with their children. And it's really beautiful to see the progress they make.
I'm expecting, and obviously with your experience we would know that if there is a deaf child in the household, the primary thing that parents would do is first learn the language themselves.
Exactly. And sign language is indigenous to every country. It's not universal. To help parents and to help everyone in the country, we created the first digital sign language dictionary. It's online, it's free of cost. It's just psl.org.pk. Not Pakistan Super League, by the way. Pakistan Sign Language.
Pakistan Sign Language.
.org.pk.
.org.pk. Richard ये बता रहे हैं कि इन्होंने डेफ रीच ने पाकिस्तान में पहली मर्तबा डॉक्यूमेंट की है पाकिस्तान की जो इंडिजिनस साइन लैंग्वेज है, जो हमारी चीज़ें हैं, जो हमारे इस्तारे हैं, जो हमारी अशिया है जो हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं रोज़मर्रा की, वो तमाम चीज़ें साइन लैंग्वेज में मौजूद हैं और डेफ रीच 8 शहरों तक फैल चुका है। 35 साल पहले इनका ये सफ़र शुरू हुआ। Do you also plan on expanding? Because I'm sure there must be a lot of need in other cities and areas as well.
Our 8 schools are wonderful, but it's a small drop in the bucket, if you will, with the challenge across the country. But rather than just try to open brick and mortar schools, which is very intensive, we're working on creating digital content in sign language. Think Khan Academy for the deaf, which will be available free of cost and available for teachers, for parents, for students.
So important.
And the real challenge in Pakistan, there are no real trained teachers for the deaf. There's no government programs. Even the university programs there's no deaf studies program. So teachers are not properly equipped, and especially when you get to the smaller cities, deaf children are pretty much left without the instruction they need. So this type of digital content would provide a teacher the resources they need to help their deaf
While
students.
we are having this conversation, Mehreen is also communicating.
She's interpreting what we're saying.
Absolutely, that's what
we
I
have
can.
a deaf audience out there that wants to understand what we're talking about.
That's quite amazing. Mehreen, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आप जिस लैंग्वेज में कर रही हैं बात, इस वक्त वो हमारी इंडिजिनस पाकिस्तान के लिए है ये साइन लैंग्वेज?
जी जी, मैं जो हूँ PSL में ही साइन लैंग्वेज कर रही हूँ, जो पाकिस्तान की साइन लैंग्वेज।
तो ये हम इसको उर्दू ही मतलब हमने कुछ तो इसको कहना होगा, तो ये हमारे रीजन की है।
नहीं कहते, ये पाकिस्तान साइन लैंग्वेज है, क्योंकि ये हर लैंग्वेज का कॉम्बिनेशन है, तो ये उनकी अपनी क्रिएटेड साइन।
तो जब आप बात कर रही होती हैं, अब तो आपको शायद आदत भी होगी कि आप बात भी कर रही होती हैं, बिकॉज आप बात कर सकती हैं, सुन भी सकती हैं, लेकिन साथ साइन लैंग्वेज भी चल रही है।
जी जी बिल्कुल, हम जो हैं कोशिश करते हैं कि जब भी हम डेफ के साथ जो है हमारे इर्द गिर्द मौजूद हों, तो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हम जब बात कर रहे हों तो उनको इंक्लूड करें, दे शुड बी फील इंक्लूसिव, और फिर हम साइन लैंग्वेज के साथ जो है वो स्पीच भी करते हैं।
अच्छा, तो ये कितने इसको मैं क्योंकि हम तो उर्दू अंग्रेजी की बात करें तो वो हरूफ और अल्फ़ाबेट्स वगैरह हो जाते हैं, जे वॉटेवर, ये कितने तरीके हैं ये करने के, मतलब इसमें क्या क्या कर सकते हैं?
ये तो जिस तरह लैंग्वेज है, जैसे आपके अल्फ़ाबेट्स हैं तो हमारे पास ये अल्फ़ाबेट्स हैं, जैसे ABC है। अब फॉर एग्जांपल आप जो है वर्ड बोल रही हैं, अब मैं जैसे मैं कह रही हूँ बोल रही हैं, तो आप बोलते भी इसी तरह हैं, तो ये एक वर्ड क्रिएटेड है, ठीक है। जैसे हम
एक्शन है,
एक्शंस हैं बेसिकली, हम जो डेली जो हम काम कर रहे हैं, जो हम एक्शन हैं उसको हम कन्वर्ट करते हैं साइन लैंग्वेज में, और जो डेफ हैं ये उनकी अपनी लैंग्वेज है, वो अपने माहौल के हिसाब से, अपने कल्चर के हिसाब से जो है वो अपनी साइन लैंग्वेज जो है वो क्रिएट करते हैं, और फिर वो
एंड सम पार्ट ऑफ इट तो इसका यूनिवर्सल भी होता होगा, अगर कोई डेफ इंसान बाहर जाता है,
पानी, वाटर,
this would be universal anywhere.
You know, you're not thinking in Urdu or English. A deaf person is thinking in the sign, and then you're translating that into English or into Urdu or French or Russian or Chinese. It doesn't matter.
From the deaf person's part, it's an action.
The primary language is the sign language.
And so our students, and I've seen some pictures on your screen here, our students become literate in 3 languages because sign language is their primary language. Then they're learning English and Urdu as a second and third language because they sit for the board exams when they reach 9th grade.
Yeah.
And the inter exams and the BA exams. And they pass with flying colors. But in order to do so, they really become fluent in 3 languages.
So Richard, अब ये पास भी कर जाते हैं, सारा पढ़ भी लेते हैं. What are the employment opportunities for them when they graduate? उनके लिए क्या employers का रवैया भी तब्दील हुआ है? Are there jobs available for them?
So this is a great question, and over the past many years, this has improved a great deal here in Pakistan because of the efforts of organizations like ourselves and working in partnership with the corporate sector. And I give credit to KFC, Raza Pirbhai, who's the CEO.
That's the first name that actually comes to mind.
Yes, because we had a partnership starting back from 2007 where we opened the first deaf-run KFC restaurant. Today, they employ over 200 deaf boys and girls across their branches. And people go out of their way to eat at a deaf-run KFC because they can learn some sign language and the chicken tastes better.
And that should be the case.
Because of opening those doors, now we've had a lot of success with the other industries in the textile, pharma, banking. In the last few years, we've placed over 2,000 deaf youth in jobs.
You know, अगर आप खुद भी गए हो, जैसे अगर KFC का ही इन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दिया है, तो आपको ये भी अंदाज़ा हो गया होगा कि कम्युनिकेशन का कोई मसला नहीं होता. मतलब आपको वैसे
शुरू में लगता था, लेकिन कितनी दफा ऑर्डर किया हुआ है.
You're the one who's handicapped because you don't know their language. So we made these big picture menus so you could point.
Exactly.
It was so easy. You know, we have ordered from a different KFC so many times ourselves. You know, when there, ate. लाहौर में आपको पता है जेल रोड पे जो KFC होता था, बड़ा सा सर्विसेज अस्पताल के साथ. It was a different KFC.
Deaf people are very capable. They can do anything except hear. They just need to be given that opportunity. And I would use this as a moment to appeal to the corporate sector to open their doors, to be more inclusive, you know, President and Mrs. Aldi.
क्योंकि सिर्फ एक रेस्टोरेंट के करने से तो काम नहीं बनेगा. There should be other opportunities
There's
as well.
so many different opportunities.
With all these advancements and you know everything happening, everything progressing for the people who cannot hear, are more deaf children coming into deaf-free schools?
Yes.
Are you able to convince more parents to put their children here?
We don't have to convince them. We have waiting lists in all of our schools.
That's
and there's so many areas of the country that would like to have a deaf-free school. What we would like to do is partner with other organizations
or
donors who would like to establish a school in their area.
Okay, that's one avenue. Just
that's you know, public or private, any
or
kind
private,
of
private partnership.
Private, whatever. But partnerships are key to success here in Pakistan.
So
we're a small organization and we don't have the funding or the bandwidth. But in partnership with those that do, miracles can happen.
So 8 सिर्फ शहर हैं अभी जहाँ पे डेफ रीच के स्कूल कायम हैं. मेरा ख्याल है हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो कॉर्पोरेशंस हैं, कॉर्पोरेट्स हैं, उनसे भी अपील करेंगे, इंडिविजुअल से भी. इफ़ यू वांट टू कोलैबोरेट, आप डेफ रीच के साथ मिलकर अपने शहर, अपने कस्बे, अपने गांव, अपने ज़िले में एक स्कूल बना सकते हैं फॉर द डेफ कम्युनिटी. ये लोग तमाम गाइडलाइंस आपको फराहम करेंगे, सिस्टम बताएंगे, बस आपने इनकी मदद करनी है.